So let's just meet here in this portal.
That sounds perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's just bring our energy into the stomach and just try as much as we can to bring the inhale all the way into the ribs. So the ribs expand out to the side, so the stomach expands. Feeling connected to what is ever supporting us. Because that is what we're going to be talking about today. What is supporting us? How circles support us, and how that support can find us just in these tiny moments of feeling comforted by the earth, the chair, the physical realm beneath us. All right. So you can just hop right into it. Talking about circles. There's so many circles out there: wild woman, full moon, new moon. What is circles for you?
Yeah, even restorative justice circles, it's like entering the corporate space now. Um, I was gonna say actually, do you want to do introductions? Like, do you want to share who
Sure.
we are
Yeah,
and how we know each other? That could be
sure.
cool.
Yeah.
So we met through Circle, so that's perfect. That's how we met. I was recently trained in the Wild Woman Circle Project. I've been running circles for 20 years, but I had a baby, kind of took a break, stopped my life, had this massive transformation, and kind of a way back to myself was to find a place where I could circle. And the Wild Woman Project was one of those places. So I signed up for the training, and that way I got to circle like 3 days a week. You really do an intensive thing, um, which I really love. And then at the end, they have you host one. And so I hosted one on a full moon because I have a lot of energy on the full moon, and I love the idea of the silver light just beaming and the feminine show revealing things that aren't usually seen in the sunlight.
Mm.
And I love when women gather in particular in circle on a full moon because there's so much intuition, so much unraveling, so much revealed that maybe wasn't seen before that can be admitted and witnessed and processed together in community. Um, but then you were hosting New Moon Circle. So I got a text from you because you were a Sacramento practitioner and I'd signed up for your list before. And you were going to host one at McKinley Park, which is where I go for swimming and where I take my daughter to the playground or we go to the library. And I just was like, well, my tent is still up from my full moon ceremony 2 weeks ago. Do you just want to have it here? And you said yes. And it's a very new, but very like deep and profound friendship because we share the same spiritual practices and community practices. That's
True.
me and how we met.
Yeah. And I mean, it was just so beautiful how we met because you literally just offered up your space, like without really knowing me, but somehow it was just this feeling. And is that from being in circle that you have like an intuitive feeling like, yeah, this is gonna be okay to have, this girl come into my space. It's this sense of, trust. So I just thought that was so wonderful. Natalie had sent an email when I was emailing the people in the group for the moon circle. Hey, what day works for everyone? Where do we want to meet? And then Natalie was like, well, I still have my tent set up. We could do it at my house. And it was just one of those moments when you're like, wow, like I'm just receiving such a beautiful like support in what I'm doing that really makes like these kinds of things that you do without necessarily like earning money or just doing it for to connect and to just reach for something that feels like you're belonging with other people. And so it was nice that you were also on that same wavelength to be so receptive.
Yeah, of course. That's so fun to hear it from your side of your point of view. I think for me it was like, well, she's been a Wild Woman Circle facilitator, so she's done this for years. She's part of that like kind of vetted group of witchy women who love to do this. And you're my neighbor. You're here, literally
Yeah.
in my neighborhood. It wasn't even like Elk
Right.
Grove or Roseville. It was
Right.
like within a mile distance. So that's so true. My heart very much is on my sleeve, but I don't think you should just do it. You should definitely check in with yourself. And
True.
there were enough green flags for me to be like, if she's willing to text us from her arrival from Mexico to hold circle on this new beautiful new moon, and I don't have the energy to hold space on a new moon because that's when I bleed. I was like, heck yeah, I want to do a circle. And I can offer my ofrenda. My offering is the chocolates and the teacups and the space.
Yeah, that's amazing. And also just one more point with the Wild Woman moon circles that we were both trained in. There's this meditation where it's like you kind of put out the heartstrings, you know, it's like you're sending out your heart radar like a lighthouse or a web. So it doesn't feel as like stranger danger when we're connecting with each other, maybe because we're all doing that meditation.
Yes, I think that's true. I forgot about that. Yes, there's so many of us. I mean, there's so many terms, I think, for what we're doing here. But the idea is that women and healers are being activated and we recognize each other and we're being pulled to be together. That's my daughter trying to get in the room, if you can hear.
Oh, Corinne. Well, can you explain about like how you could incorporate the developmental or social justice into circles?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's, oh my goodness, that's such a big question. It helps that, so my very first circle training I did was through the One Circle Foundation. And this was when I was working in collaboration with juvenile halls. And circle being
Wow.
used as an intervention for youth to get youth the support that they needed to have peer relationships, adult relationships, to self-regulate, right? So I was trained as a teen girl circle facilitator in Santa Cruz County, and I would do circles almost every night, 4 nights a week, like Monday through Thursday.
Wow.
And yeah, so I really got trained in circle facilitation. Well, I got certified and trained like that weekend away. It was in Sonoma and it was beautiful, and you practice and you get a whole stack of curricula. So I have like lots of ideas of the things we can do together as our activities. And then I just did that for years, like 3 or 4 years. And so I think restorative justice is this, I mean, it's a huge, huge question. And it's also so simple. It's the idea that we don't punish each other. When harm has been done, we don't like ask for punishment. We do our work so that we then bring the person in. You call the person back into community or back in relationship, and you repair or restore the harm that's been done. And circles are a really great place to do that. So that's how I think restorative circle facilitation has taken it's gone with circle and it's taken a mind of its own, because so much healing is possible in a container of a circle. And I think, like we have things like therapy or like a masseuse or acupuncture, a lot of like one-on-one settings, but we don't have something other than like group therapy to address community, this community lack or this community connection that people are hungry for, or community safety, community restoration, where people have to socialize. And I think circles are a good part. It's really cool that I got to do that through work and through institutions, but then found a way for me to do it in my personal life as a woman, as a human being too.
True. Yeah, because you need to like be reminded of how healing it is for yourself to participate in it, for you to be holding space.
Yeah, like practice what you preach. I love that.
Right.
Um,
And
how,
so,
well,
oh, sorry.
what kind of circles have you been in? Because I know I kind of like rear-ended into now spiritual feminine circles for me, but how did you come across circles?
I was introduced to a circle by a roommate. It was like oracle card circle pretty much. It was just like we were pulling cards and then we talked about how they were relevant to us, like just very simple, organic. And then she told me about the Wild Woman. I didn't have the funds for Wild Woman at the time, but Chris was pretty like flexible. I kind of did like some not extra credit, but I was showed that I was involved in community, and I was working with Marianne Williamson at the time, like I was volunteering in her organization. So I'm
Nice.
like, look, I'm out here on the front lines. I just really like want to do this, but I don't have the money to put down on all of it. So she gave me like a nice discount, and then yeah, I started doing the training.
Sweet. Same. I had just gotten laid off this past March, and I asked for a scholarship and I got a scholarship.
Oh, nice.
Scholarships are available. It's
That's
amazing.
great.
Ask
Yeah.
for them when you need them. It's part of the like give receive, like give what you can to keep the currency flowing. And actually, I was going to say with money, like, no, I don't charge a lot for circles, but the currency isn't monetary for me because I get so much like charge, so much energy, so much joy, so much connection. I get friendship. I get all these other ways of being resourced that like the money part, not to like poo poo money because money's great and you can be a good healer with money and make it go
Mhm.
good with it. Um, but in this case, it just felt like, yeah, I don't know. I get so much from it that there's abundance in all these other ways.
Yeah, because I feel like it's kind of twofold. Because with circles, it's like we want to create community, so it's in sometimes, and when it's like feels too transactional, it's like, are you really my friend? Or are you just like me because I'm paying to go to your circle?
It can be weird. I was trained to work with you. So I was trained to hold face, like be vulnerable enough, but don't ever lean on them to have to take care
True.
of you because you're the adult in the room. So I was taught to hold this line. But then as I like got into the spiritual community and had coaches and started doing what they called masterminds, like where you get a group coaching program, and you start circling with other ambitious women or other spiritual women like you, I would see the facilitators lean into the circle and put themselves in it, and the circle could take it.
Hmm.
Oh, cool. I'm now among peers. And there've been a few times where I've totally like broken down, like it's caught me off guard because you get so
Hmm.
vulnerable and you're held so well that
Right.
for me, grief has come up that I didn't even know I had. And then I end up
Wow.
crying or saying something like, wow, I didn't even know I had that going on in me. And then I cry, even though I'm holding the space. But it only makes me double down and want to do circles more. It's like there's something
True.
powerful here.
Yeah, because you don't know you need it till you do it. Yeah, that's a good point you brought up. Because I feel like when you know you're with a therapist or when we're seeing clients, like you don't insert your personal life. You don't relate to your client. That's just
Yeah.
you don't do that. But then in circles, sometimes, especially if it's people's first time, like you kind of do, sometimes you're the one that shares a very vulnerable share just to open up the space. It's not for, and that's what I love about circle. It's not for like, okay, like the trauma Olympics. It's just like, let's share what's coming up now. And like, I want everyone to feel safe. So I'm going to say something very vulnerable or do something like that doesn't look attractive, like a weird breath exercise or something to just get us all like off of our social masks.
It's so true. There's a disrobing or a demasking that happens. And that's the power, again, of circle. We're saying that word a lot, but every face is seen in a circle. You can't really like hide from somebody. Like you take your place,
Mhm.
every face is seen.
Mhm.
And you can always pass, like if you're feeling stuff, and there's totally people who we're all kinds of personalities in there. That's the whole point. It's like diversity makes wholeness. The more different we are, the better. But sometimes people are like, I'm going to pass, but my name is, and I'm really happy to be here. Right. And like, that's okay. And someone else shares and takes the time that they needed. But I will say there's a lot of dynamics that the facilitator plays, like to give us props. We've done a lot of work to be facilitators of circles, and they're no easy thing to manage. There's a lot of dynamics that can come up. The
True.
sisterhood wound, women not trusting each other, um,
Yeah. Competition.
competition, the trauma Olympics being very leaky and kind of
Mhm.
like purging because or the vampires suck. There's lots of dynamics that can come up. But again, I think that's what I love about circles, that the circles got it, the community's got it. It's not, now you're not a therapist trying to coach someone out of something. Now it's
True.
The container, there's timings, there's prompts, there's closeouts, there's transitions, it's a curriculum, it's a process.
Yeah, right. It's the process. And I feel like when there are people in circle that kind of do have that, competitive edge that's who knows where it's coming from, one of their managers in their mind that's trying to keep some authority in the group. Like it's not like we're like, like don't be here. It's all everything just becomes like a learning experience because it's like we've experienced those moments of insecurity and competition before. So like we can relate to that. And it's like we go through our own process of like, okay, judging that person who's not being as vulnerable, but then why are we doing that? It all kind of like ping pongs into this.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
all the things, all of humanity's stuff can come up in a circle, and that's I think what makes it equally as exciting. Usually, let's see, what would I do if there was somebody who was doing that? Eh, through trainings, I've taught to give them the time. So they're asking for more airtime, so give it to them. Hey, have you been there before? Like let them be shiny. It's kind of like the kid who's talking in class, like have them be a helper, like reward them. Will you hand out pencils? Will you do this? Will you like give them roles because they want to be seen?
I love that.
And we need help, but it
I
takes
love
a village to
that.
run a circle. Like, would you love to pour the tea? Would you love to light the candles? Would you love, why don't you pull the first card or would you like to go first?
Oh, I love that.
Like, oh my gosh, very
Orozco.
like jujitsu of like energy's pulling over here. So like yield and come
Right, right.
with the non-speakers, you can say like, hey, I've heard, this, I've heard a lot from this side of the circle. Is there anybody over here who wants to speak to help, balance it out? So you're kind of watching just to make sure things feel balanced and that everybody gets what they need. And you can always check in with people afterwards. That's what I love. It's like, we're done. Hey, what did you think? Like, what was it like for you? Is there anything I can do to make it better? Anything you'd like to see? And they're like, sometimes it's the most quiet people. They're like, I was blown away. It was amazing, but you wouldn't know because they didn't
True,
say anything. So it's nice to
true.
see afterwards.
Yeah, and I feel like there's some maybe misconceptions about circles that like the person who's leading it is like, "Oh, I'm this all-knowing person that has it all figured out. Everyone listen to me." And like I have been to circles like that and there was like a performance element to it that I wouldn't return to it, but it's still, I think that can kind of like leak, and so people can come in with that like expectation. It's like, no, we're not leading those kinds of,
That's a really good point.
performance guru. That's not what we're about. And
Yeah.
so,
The circle's flat. Like there's no pyramid here, which is another powerful thing,
ooh, that's a good point.
right? Like we're not doing pyramids. Even like a classroom. So I was trained in education. So those are where all my metaphors come from. You have the teacher at the front and then everyone looking at them, right? That's another triangle. But a circle, like I said, everyone
Mm.
has the same seat. It's equitable. There's equanimity there.
Mm.
Um, and like I said, I share, it's our power. And so it's like what you did to me, right? Like what I did to you, I was like, I can't hold space. I'm so maxed out and I'm so vulnerable, but you have the energy to hold us today, and I'll be there and I'll participate and I'll serve the wine and the tea and there's other ways everyone can give a certain level, but creating a circle so that everyone can be seen, I think is that's the whole point. The whole,
Right.
especially of moon circles, of the circles that we've been trained in or we want to carry in the world. Moon circles are very much about being seen in your femininity and healing what needs to be healed in community, in a group of sisters, in a space that's feminine, healing the feminine wounds in a feminine space.
Would you say like the feminine wounds that kind of come up during circle, does it depend on what season we're in for you and with your circles?
That's such a good point. I have no idea. I've never thought to track in that way.
Yeah.
For sure. Like as I've as I've coming out of that postpartum and I'm starting to connect again with women, and like my baby can like, she's a toddler now. She can walk and feed herself enough. I'm becoming more available to my sisters and the women in my life. And I've always heard the same themes. This is, I think, why I end up doing circles. I'm like, okay, we all just need to get in a room because we're all saying the same thing. And right now, I'm really healing a lot of womb stuff and a lot of reclaiming power stuff.
Oh, yes.
To be needs some attention, something's going on, I'm having a lot of cramps, my bleeding is spotting, something's going on, right? Like the times are off. We're all our energy centers, our portals of life are all kinds of talking to us right now. And then I'm seeing a lot of women like step into their power, myself included. Like the gig is up. I can hold circles. I'm a medicine woman. I'm here to hold space. What do we need? And I'm seeing that rise even in women who aren't healers, but like they're being activated and they're like, I'm starting a business. I'm good at event planning. I'm going to host healers. Like, this is what we need. It's like this siren, this non seeable, non audible siren has gone off, and women are just getting
Oh,
activated to help us all just not survive the times. I would straight up say, like, thrive in these times, create a
yes.
new way of living.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are the two that I'm hearing. But you're right, they are themes, but to me they feel more like what's happening to the women at this time, kind of keeping a close ear, close watch.
Right. And like you said, close ear. And I feel like that's the, feminine energy that is in circle because we are giving each other the close ear. And it's not to analyze, and that's another part of holding space. I'm not going to offer you a solution.
Yeah.
We're not offering each other solutions. Maybe some of the girls do that out of their best heart. They might say that, but I think it's more important to just like give a close ear to it, and then that allows our inner ears to see which part of me is talking, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's actually really simple. Like the way we talk about it makes it sound like it's really deep and it's all these things
Right.
that, but it's actually just like sitting in a circle, having a question, and then everyone takes turn answering that question how they perceive it. And you just listen to each other. And this sounds it's a radical act because in the Western world, people talk over each other. Women are not seen or heard. We
Mhm.
probably haven't asked ourselves any question because traditionally we caretake everyone else's needs before our own. So there's in
Mhm.
something so simple, which is like gather with women you trust, ask yourself a profound question, listen while the rest of the women in your community answer it yourself, is like, that's it. That's the process.
Right.
So much happens in that process that makes it very healing. And our agreements help too. I have agreements where we don't give advice. We are there to, we trust each other implicitly to navigate our own lives. We're not going to join in on telling a woman how to live her life. And if
Oh,
something comes
I
up
love
for
that.
you intuitively, you can always say, like, something came up for me. Is it okay to share? And the person can always say no, but we always ask permission. Like, again, what does it look like to make our own sets of rules? What keeps our femininity alive after it's been activated? Like, that's, I think, what I'm practicing in circles. That's what I love about women's circles, is that I'm practicing and reclaiming my femininity in there.
Nice. I did want to ask you, when you were doing the restorative justice circles for younger girls, was there kind of a like a resistance? Were they just in general, were they more shy? Were they like, this is
Yeah.
weird?
Yeah. That's why I think now I'm as confident as I am in circles because I've seen it all. Like I've seen the teenage years from like 13 to 21. Totally people who like didn't want to participate, the quiet one, right? The one who never spoke at all. That's when I'm like the one who loved it all along, but I couldn't tell. Um, what I think one of my saving grace in those moments in those years was that I ended up getting a little puppy and doing my own therapy. That's the other thing, is like I cannot sit as a 20-year-old in a circle with teens, ask them to reveal their traumas, their wounds, and work through and witness them resiliently conquer them while I have my own childhood traumas that haven't been tended to. So immediately, like within those first 6 months, I got my ass in therapy. And then I got
Nice.
and then I learned to take care of the dog the way I took care of myself. I started feeding myself good foods and drinking water and taking myself for walks. Like the ways I neglected myself, I learned to re-love myself because I reparented.
Oh,
But my boss was amazing and let me bring my dog to the circles. His name was Toby Panchito. He was like a cute little like Yorkie Chihuahua mix, but he's so stinking cute. So he actually bringing him to the circles in the after school programs or the after care programs.
Kind of disarmed everyone.
And totally. And then they would like pet him. He like became our therapy dog. I never certified, but like we'd sit on laps and like everyone would take turns holding him and he would kind of unmask, right? He was like my little spirit guide, spirit helper in there, helping like tame some of the feels. And for me, that time, it made me who I am today. I think it made me the circle facilitator that I am. The program was called Girl Space. And I mean, I love those women, those girls who are now women so much. And I witnessed some of the most remarkable healing, the remarkable shares, just so much bravery and courage. That's, I think, what it's the opposite. It's like the youth could do this. This is why I know women need to be able to do this, women of any age. But yeah, totally at all the
Yeah.
ages, all the time.
So, and you took like the spiritual kind of element out of it when you're working with the girls in that age. Like you're not, are you talking about the moon? Is that
Oh
like,
yeah, no spirit. Yeah, we took the spirit
yeah,
out of it. So it was more like life skills, like
right.
what is friendship, right? What are the qualities that you look for in a friend? It's life skills that teens need. Maybe there was like a drug alcohol curriculum, but a lot of it was about risk taking. So what are the risks that you want to take? What makes your body feel comfortable when you're risk taking? They're really cool activities written by like world renowned experts on how to grow these skills that aren't taught in school, but you need to function in life. And again, it was like research tested. So this is also what helps youth who are at risk of juvenile involvement or are in juvenile justice programs already. This is what gives them the skills to not return. So it was like an intervention program. It was like an approved curriculum.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Plenty. Plenty.
we'll have plenty more to chat about circles. I think this was just kind of like a good introduction. And yeah, anything else we want to pop out there?
Thank you so much for hosting me. Thank
Thank you. And you're going to be starting your circles virtually when and where can we find
Yes.
out about
I'm having
those?
a live free launch. It's called Moon Aligned Women. Moon Aligned Women. I'm calling in my fall cohort. I'm hoping to bring in 13 women to circle with in the fall season. We'll do new moon circles, full moon circles, and then in the waning and waxing moon, so the weeks in between, I'll send a prompt, journaling prompts and rituals, anything to get us aligned with this feminine entity that we're all connected to already, the moon.
Love that.
And I'll have a live launch on the equinox, Sunday, September 21st, 10 a.m. PM.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll chat before then, but I'll also put in the links on the video.
Yeah. Thank you for
Okay.
thank you for
Thanks,
hosting me today.
Natalie. Let's see.